What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a couple weeks since I've uploaded any videos, and that's because my job has had me traveling a lot more, and I've been trying to get everything situated with my son getting his license, and it's just been really stressful. I've been doing a lot of other stuff, so I haven't really done any work to any of the cars. And I wanted to touch on what I do for a living and why I don't do videos on servicing CNC machinery, because a lot of people that I know personally have subscribed to this channel that I know through my work, and I have people ask me pretty regularly why I don't do videos on diagnosing and repairing the CNC machines that I work on, and it's mostly due to the fact that I go into some pretty high security buildings. And some of the places that I go to, I'm not allowed to have a camera at any circumstance. I have to put tape over the camera on my phone, and if I take my computer in, I have to take tape over the cameras on the computers, because I do a lot of work for aerospace and places that do military contracts and things of that nature. So yeah, it's kind of difficult for me to be able to record and do that stuff without violating the privacy rules of the companies that I go into. Plus, I work for one of the biggest manufacturers of CNC machines in the world, and I don't know how happy they would be about me doing videos showing how to do that stuff, because I am a factory authorized technician. And a lot of the stuff that I know is proprietary information, so I don't want to breach any like confidentiality stuff or anything like that. So that's the main reason why I don't show any of the stuff for working on the CNC machines. I've been doing it for 23 years. I've been with this company for 23 years, but I've been working on machines for a little over 30 years, and been doing cars pretty much my whole life. Been doing them since I was 9. And I used to be an ASE certified master mechanic, but I let all my certifications expire because I didn't work in the automotive industry anymore. And that was, 20 years ago, something like that. I don't remember how long ago it was, but I've always had a passion for doing cars. That's why I do what I do. But I never made enough money working on cars to satisfy the way that I wanted to live. I make a pretty damn good living doing what I do. I'm struggling right now because of my divorce that I went through last year. Pretty unfortunate circumstance, but I'm just trying to hold my head up and keep going, and it's going to be rocky. But once I got 2 more years until my kids are 18, and I get 2 loans paid off. Once those are paid off and my kids are older and I don't have to pay the child support that I have to pay for my daughter, then it'll free up a lot of money for me to be able to do a lot more stuff out here. I'll be able to do newer vehicles. I'll actually be able to do full builds way quicker than I'm doing now. Right now, financially, I'm just strapped. So I'm doing what I can on a limited budget, which that's the entire premise of this channel, is to do stuff on a limited budget. But I'd like to be able to do it with newer vehicles, to showcase stuff that is more current, because I know my Audis are starting to get dated. They're very cool cars. I love them. I will never get rid of my twin turbo unless it gets totaled, and then I'll build another one. I'll always have one of those cars. I love those cars. And then the Impala, I really enjoy the Impala just because I have so many memories with it, and it's only one of 3 years that they made that body style, so it's a pretty unique car. The Volkswagen, I really want to get it going. But financially, that car is expensive for me to do what I want to do to it. So that's the main reason that I stopped working on it, is because of the amount of cost that it's going to go into that car, because I'm going full bore with that car. The Veloster, it's really not expensive. I know it looks like I've done a shit ton of work, and I have done a shit ton of work to it, but the overall cost has been very inexpensive because I basically am just molding 2 cars together. So I don't have a lot of money in that project. The only money that I have in it is the cost of the Veloster and the cost of the Genesis. And then I probably got about $300 in miscellaneous expenses, fiberglass and whatnot. But for the most part, I'm really cheap into that, because I sold a lot of parts off the Genesis that paid for about half of what I paid for the Genesis. So, and the Veloster, I own that for forever, and basically that car has paid for itself time and time again. So I basically look at the Veloster as a zero cost for the car itself. The Genesis, after I sold all the parts, essentially cost me $900. So I'm only in the entire Veloster project for about $1,200. Maybe $1,300-$1,400, but not anywhere near. I mean, I only have $2,800 in my Audi. That's buying it, building it, and I've already driven it 120,000 miles. So I think I'm doing pretty good on the cost effectiveness. The Impala is going to cost a little bit of money because I want to do a full restoration on it because that car deserves it. And the Beetle, I want to do a wicked build, so I want to do that one full out because I can. I already started doing the air ride suspension on it and redid the entire pan, but now I'm getting to where I need to start buying parts for cables and bushings, and I need to replace the heater channels, and that car needs a lot of money thrown into it in order to make it what I want it to be. So that's the reason I stopped working on it for the time being. And unfortunately, it will probably be about 2 years before I pick up on that car because of financial reasons. The Impala, I have everything to put the engine back together, and I'm gonna put it back together. That's what I'm gonna work on that this weekend. I started cleaning the block and the bottom of the heads, but I'm gonna go get a stone so that I can stone the top of the block and the bottom of the heads before I start putting it back together. And then, but in the very next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go continue working on the Veloster. I haven't touched the Veloster since my last video that I posted. So I'm gonna go try and finish the fiberglass work on the dash and the center console and try and get it to where I can get all of that done. And then when I get the dash completely finished, block sanded, and get the kick panel that goes underneath the dash, between the dash and the center console, I still have to build that out. But once I get all that squared away and get it block sanded and done and painted and all that fit, then I'll put the steering column in there and weld the bracket in for the steering column, make sure all that fits the way that it's supposed to. And once I get that completely fit, then I will remove the steering column, the dashboard, center console, front seat, the engine, transmission, hood, fenders. I'll basically strip it back down again, and then I'll start cleaning up all my welds from where I did the front end swap. Once I get all my welds cleaned up, looking better than they do, I'll fill in any low spots that I need to fill in, go over with seam sealer where I need to put seam sealer, and get that primered and painted so that I can actually mount the engine in there and leave it in there. And then once I can put the engine and transmission, well, I may not put it in there because I may need to be able to do some shit with the back of the car when I go to change out the rear floor pan. So I may leave the engine and transmission out. I may just put the subframe in there and leave the subframe in until I get the rear done. But I'll at least get the entire front in primer with seam sealer and cleaned up welds, and get the firewall cleaned up and seam sealed and all that, and get it in primer. And then I will start working on the rear end. I won't start doing the rear end until the front end is completely finished. So I'm going to I'm going to get the firewall and the fenders and all that. Not the fenders, but the front frame rails and all that. I'll get all that stuff cleaned up, painted, seam sealed, all that. And when all the body work is done to the front, with the exception of the front bumper and the fenders, I'll have everything else finished on the front. Then I will remove the entire rear floor pan out of the car and start sectioning in the Genesis floor pan into the car. When I get to that point, it's probably going to be cold out here again, so that's actually my favorite time to do that stuff because it gets really hot welding. I really didn't want to do all that welding during the summer, so doing it during the winter, maybe not during the winter, but at least during the springtime, or I mean the fall, it'll be a little bit easier on me than doing it during the middle of summer here in Georgia, because it gets pretty freaking hot here. But I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of an update on what's been going on, why I haven't posted for the last couple weeks. But hopefully we'll have a new video out next Saturday regarding the Veloster, and I'll hopefully have another one regarding the Impala. I may have one before then, but I don't want to make any promises. The soonest I would see myself posting another video would be next week. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I appreciate your patience with me over these last couple weeks, and hopefully you'll check it out when I come back. So thanks. See you next week.